So today's video is going to be the start to another new series that I'm doing. I have had so many of you request that I do true crime, and honestly, I'm surprised that I didn't start this sooner. I know a lot of YouTubers make these videos or they make missing person videos, and so obviously I want to try to stray away from cases that have already been covered. I got requested to do this one, and I had never heard of it before, and so I decided to go ahead and do it. I looked into it and I couldn't see any other videos made, so I hope that this hasn't been done before, but at the same time, I don't think there's any problem with bringing light to these issues. I don't see why it would be a bad thing for multiple people to cover the same story. I think this kind of stuff needs to be heard and it needs to be talked about more than it is. This obviously did start with my Bianca Devins video. I had you guys asking me to do true crime before that video, but I think that video is what really inspired me to want to talk about this stuff and bring light to these situations. It's probably going to take me a couple videos to really figure out what I want to do or how I want to make these videos. For now, I'm just going to cover the story, I'm going to talk about it. I don't know how many of my own opinions I'm going to put into it. I haven't necessarily decided if I want it to be just more factual or if I want it to be my thoughts. With the Bianca Devins situation, I did put a lot of my own thoughts into it. I don't know if I'm going to do that for every single video. My sister was telling me that I need to be careful with the series because she loves true crime, and she was telling me that it's so easy to fall into this darkness of true crime because everything that you're reading about is so morbid and it's so horrible. So I'm going to try to make these videos devoid of any emotion. This was also something that I did want to go into. I was going into criminal justice. I wanted to be a police officer at one point. That dream faded, but I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to be a CSI. That's still something that I kind of want to do, but I don't necessarily know if that's going to happen. And these are similar cases to what I would see when I was in college, so I'm not worried yet. Sorry for the longer intro. I promise the other videos won't have the intro, but I just wanted to introduce the series before I just got started into it. I also did want to say really quickly that today, September 12th, Bianca Devins' killer's trial is on the 16th, so I'll most likely have a video up soon if anything happens during that trial. I didn't say his name in that video, and if I did say his name, I bleeped it out. Here in this story, I am going to refer to him as his name. I'm going to say his full name once, and then I'm going to refer to him as BC. That's the name that I've given him because those are his initials. I think it'll get a little bit too confusing if I just keep saying he and I don't refer to him as his name, so I'm just gonna call him BC. He doesn't get his whole name. He doesn't deserve that. I also had somebody confused as to what I meant because they were like, he killed her, what do you mean he doesn't deserve that? I don't think he deserves to have his name spoken. After the things that he did, why would I want to say his name and why would I want to share his name? So that was what I meant by that. Sorry if that was confusing. So the first story that I wanted to cover was the kidnapping and murder of Yingying Zhang. This occurred on June 9th in 2017. Zhang was a visiting Chinese scholar at the University of Illinois, and she was abducted by Brent Allen Christensen. He had lured Zhang into his car at a bus stop on campus after she had missed her bus and promised to give her a ride. That's when he took her to his apartment and raped and murdered her while his wife was out of town. He was arrested by the FBI on June 30th. He was charged with and convicted of 1 count of kidnapping resulting in death and 2 counts of lying to the FBI. He received a life sentence without the possibility of parole this year on July 18th. And now getting more in depth into the story. Yingying was born in Southeast Asia, December 21st, 1990. She played in a band and she had ambitions of becoming a professor in China. I apologize if I mispronounce any of this. She graduated from Sat Yat Sen University in 2013 at the top of her class. And in 2016, she graduated from Peking University. She was a visiting scholar in the Chinese Academy of Sciences before traveling to the United States. She arrived in the US April 2017 to conduct research on photosynthesis and crop productivity. She was even considering entering a doctoral program at the University of Illinois, and she had plans to marry her boyfriend in October of 2017. Zhang was traveling by bus to an off-campus apartment complex where she planned to sign a new apartment lease. She was running late, so she sent a text to the leasing agent at 1:39. She informed them that she'd be arriving around 2:10 p.m. After riding one bus, she exited at 1:52 to transfer to another. However, she was on the wrong side of the road, and company policy states they cannot stop for pedestrians on the other side of the road to prevent them from running across traffic, so the bus did not stop. The leasing agent then sent a text reaching out at 2:38 p.m. but received no response. Her friends, who knew that she was going to the apartment complex, grew worried after hours of not hearing from her, and an associate professor called the police at 9:24 p.m. that same night. The university's police department and the FBI offered up a $10,000 reward for anybody with any information. The university had a large Chinese student population who helped coordinate search efforts on and around campus. On June 19th, a $10,000 reward went up to $40,000, and on July 14th, that went up to $50,000. Zhang's family stated they would not leave the country until she was found. Investigators were able to find her on security footage but weren't able to discern the license plate number on the car that she had gotten into. However, they were able to determine there were 18 four-door Saturn Astras registered to people in their county. One of those was registered to BC. Investigators interviewed and inspected his car on June 12 of 2017. He reportedly claimed that he didn't remember what he was doing at the time of Zhang's disappearance. He then later told them he might have been at home sleeping or playing video games. They reviewed the security footage again on June 14th, and this is where they found that both cars had a similar sunroof, the car in the video and the car that belonged to BC. They also noted that the car in the video had a cracked hubcap, and upon re-inspection they were able to match it back to BC's car. On June 15th, they brought him back in for questioning and executed a search warrant for his car. His passenger door appeared to have been cleaned to a more diligent extent than the rest of his vehicle doors. Police say that may be indicative of an attempt to conceal or destroy evidence. During questioning that same day, he admitted that he had given an Asian female a ride. He said he dropped her off only a couple blocks away from where he picked her up after taking a wrong turn caused her to panic. They then conducted a search and seizure at BC's residence, where agents took possession of any phone or computers that belonged to him. He was then placed under continuous surveillance on June 16th. I know I said I wasn't going to share any of my own opinions, or at least keep it to a minimum, but I really can't hold back here. This part really made me upset because I don't understand what goes through your head to make you think that this is okay. On June 29th, he attended a memorial walk for Zhang with his girlfriend. You're the main suspect in this case, and you know that you did this. Why would you show up there? Her family's there, her friends are there, her classmates are there. Why would you show up? His girlfriend Tara Bulis cooperated with the FBI and wore a wire. She thought it would exonerate him if he wasn't guilty of the crime. An FBI agent stated that in the audio recording, BC told Bulis that he brought Zhang back to his apartment and held her there against her will. The following day, on June 30th, the FBI arrested BC and charged him with kidnapping. This is another part that didn't necessarily make me angry, but it made me uncomfortable. The FBI report noted that in April, before the kidnapping, BC used his cell phone to access the sexual fetish website FetLife, visiting forums such as Abduction 101. He had no prior criminal records, and he had no record of disciplinary problems at the university. At a court hearing on July 5th, he was denied bail. Zhang still missing weighed heavy against BC, given that he was the last person to have seen her. And back at the memorial walk on the audio recording, he had described the characteristics of his ideal victim, even going as far to point out people in the crowd that matched the description. It was also recorded that Zhang had resisted and fought with him. On July 12th, a grand jury formally indicted BC of kidnapping, where he pled not guilty at his arraignment on the 20th of the same month. His trial then began in June of 2019. During opening statements, his attorney admitted that BC killed Zhang. He stated that BC was on trial for his life because he could possibly face the death penalty. There was also evidence provided that the same morning that Zhang was kidnapped, BC had posed as an undercover cop and attempted to abduct grad student Emily Hogan. He asked her to get into his car, she refused, and he drove off. After picking up Zhang later that morning and taking her back to his apartment, he choked, raped, and stabbed her in his bedroom before dragging her to his bathroom, beating her with a baseball bat, and decapitating her. On June 24th, 2019, the grand jury spent less than 2 hours deliberating before returning their final verdict. BC was found guilty of 1 count kidnapping resulting in death and 2 counts of making false statements to the FBI. However, the jury could not unanimously agree whether or not he would face the death penalty. As a result, he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole on July 18th. Following the trial, prosecutors revealed information regarding Zhang's remains. BC had given this information to his attorneys in November of 2018 under an immunity agreement. He stated the day after he killed Zhang, he put her dismembered body in 3 separate garbage bags, which he then disposed of in the dumpster outside of his apartment. Over the next 2 days, he claimed that he disposed of Zhang's personal belongings in various dumpsters in the area. Her remains were placed in a dumpster that was emptied 3 days later and taken to a private landfill. They were compacted twice and spread over an area that was 50 yards wide, buried under 30 feet of trash. Police say that it might be almost impossible to find her remains, and the search has not yet begun. I know there are a lot of articles about her family and about everything that's gone on. I didn't necessarily look into those because that I honestly thought would be a little bit too much for me. I tried to stick with more of just the facts, what happened in the case. My heart breaks for her family, who will most likely never have any sort of remains from their dead child. They won't have a child to bury, and they won't have that closure. This is one of those cases, however, where I do feel justice was served. He will spend the rest of his life rotting in a prison cell. I think it blows my mind that at the memorial walk, he had the audacity to tell his girlfriend everything that he had done. Not necessarily everything, not go into detail, but he admitted to the crime while he went to a memorial walk for the girl that he had just murdered. It's already disgusting that you would show up there, like I said before. I mean, this part really made me upset. It's disgusting that you would already show up and then you would talk about those things. You talk about what you did to your girlfriend who believed that you were innocent. There's a small part of me that obviously is glad that he did that because it got him convicted, but it's so disgusting to me that it's hard for me to to be happy about anything that happened. If you guys have any other stories that you want me to cover, please leave them down below. Like I said in the beginning, my sister is a huge fan of true crime, so she's already given me a couple cases. Brittany's also a huge fan of like crime podcasts, so she's given me a couple names that she wants me to look into. Let me know if you have suggestions for how I can maybe do these better, things that you like, things that you don't like. I feel like I'm in school. It's like you're proofreading my assignment. I'm not sure how often I'll do these. I feel like I'm introducing a lot of new series right now. I'm just trying to spice things up on my channel, do some new shit, but if you guys enjoy them, I'll try to do them more often. But anyways, I love you guys. Please stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Ooh, bye! Also, sorry if I sounded like a robot. I kept realizing that I was stating things with like the same tone. Sometimes it's hard to do that when you're like reading lines at a time. I never want to forget anything, so I always take notes when I do these videos, or you know, I read from my phone. And so I was trying to read and not fuck up, and I feel like I sounded like a robot. So I'll work on that for next time. I'm sorry. Okay, I love you guys so much. Again, please be safe, because I don't know what I would do without you. See ya!